So if there's something going on in your industry right now that a lot of people are talking about or have questions about or is newsy, do episodes on those topics. One, people are wondering, so then you show up as like a trusted guide and source of information. And two, the algorithm will help you out. Welcome to this episode about how to choose content for your show that will actually help your audience through the problems they're facing. And you may think, I already know this, I know my people really well, but it's surprising how often I'm talking to our show hosts at Worthful Media, and we realize like the biggest block for them about continuing to make a great show is knowing what kind of topics to cover after the first few. Sometimes this happens at the beginning where someone is struggling with their brand new show and like overwhelmed with ideas. And sometimes it can happen 6 to 12 months down the road of hosting their show and realizing like, I've kind of done all the stuff that I thought I would do, and I need some help figuring out what's actually going to make the most impact, whether it's getting viewers to subscribe to your email list or to come by your program or join you for a live retreat, whatever your invitation is to your audience to come do more with you. That's what can become a little murky for show hosts, sometimes at the beginning of their show and sometimes at the end or 6 to 12 months in. They can start to be like, I am struggling to figure out how to help my clients solve their big problems or my audience to solve their big problems. Sometimes I think of it in the same way because I am full of ideas of content, but I'm wanting to make sure that my show is actually going to serve my audience in a really meaningful way, such that watching an episode of the show definitely encourages them and motivates them to sign up for my email list, buy my product, join my course, join my membership, get a coaching call, buy my book, whatever it is. So here's what I do when I'm walking clients through like a strategy session around their content. And this is more applicable for solo style shows. So if you haven't taken our show host quiz, the link is below in the video description. It's 30 seconds, super fast, and that will help very quickly identify what type of personal brand show host you naturally are. I made this quiz at the start of the year because I walked through this with everyone I talked to. And there's a lot of myths around being a really great podcast or YouTube show host. And a lot of people are like, you have to just interview guests and be really good at it. But that's actually not most people's forte. And so I made the quiz to help more people understand you probably are a really great show host in ways that you maybe haven't realized. And the truth is, a lot of people, the majority of people, in fact, who have a personal brand and want to start a show are better suited to doing solo style content than doing guest interviews or guest conversations. Take the quiz if you haven't. It will give you a lot more info and specific guidance about how to choose the sort of content to make. But let's say you have decided you're an expert show host or a curator. Well, I would say an expert show host or a maven show host is most likely to be doing solo content. So if you're one of those two types of show hosts, you'll find out in the quiz which you are, then it becomes even more relevant to be making content on your show that actually solves your audience's problems, helps them see the light, see the next step, give them breakthroughs, help them connect the dots. And it's sometimes challenging for you as the show host to know what that is because you've got all the content, you've got all the answers, you've got all the experience in your head, and trying to make that into episodes in a really succinct, systematic, sustainable way can be challenging. So as a producer of all these shows, that's what I do. And here's just a few tips to help you take your own options in your own show and make really good decisions about content. Tip number 1, think about the questions you get more often than any others. From your customers, from your clients, from your friends, from people who know what you do and want to know more. When you first tell people what you do, like what are the most common frequently asked questions? And you may be like, I've already covered those. Sometimes you think you have, but you like covered them buried in some episode that wasn't labeled that way. And a new subscriber to your show may like have no idea that that episode even existed. So if you haven't consciously done a mini series or a long series covering the most frequently asked questions you get in whatever your expertise is, I would absolutely start there. And it's not a bad idea to do that every couple of years. Your answers might change slightly. These episodes will never get old, but they also will always be popular. So you can kind of repeat that series every couple of years, covering the most frequently asked questions. Those will likely be your most viewed and most listened to episodes because they're the most frequently asked questions. So don't ever sleep on that. Don't ever assume you've already covered it. The most frequently asked questions should probably get the most time on your show. And there's a variety of ways you can answer them. You can just say, hey, here's the most frequently asked question I get. I'm covering it today. You can do like a audience question Q&A box, like on social media or through email, and ask them and say, hey, I polled everybody what their biggest questions were, and here's what we got. So we're going to cover them. You can do surveys, like if you recently wrote a book and did a bunch of research and surveyed your audience, like that could incorporate. So you don't have to just come up with them if you're unclear. You probably have several off the top of your head right now. But if you want to, you can poll or survey your audience or look at some data you've gotten from before. This could just be like, what's the most common thing people DM me or email me or text me? Second tip, if you're trying to figure out like, what is the content that I should be focusing on in my episodes that will actually make an impact for my audience such that they want to do more with me? I would say, what is the feedback you get most often from your peers or your audience about what makes you unique? So if you've consistently gotten feedback over the course of your brand that the people really resonate with a certain principle or message you teach, like that's a good indicator that makes you special. So I would lean into those topics or that style of teaching more and more and more, because that's resonating with people in a way that's unique to you. And that's good feedback. So listen to the feedback. Okay, tip number 3, if you're trying to figure out what content should I really focus on. And this isn't a tip to like gamify the system. It's actually be smart about the algorithms of the platforms that you put your show on. If you're on YouTube, if you cover trending topics within your niche, it will get picked up and spread and shared a lot more by the algorithm than not. So if there's something going on in your industry right now that a lot of people are talking about or have questions about or is newsy, do episodes on those topics. 1, people are wondering, so then you show up as like a trusted guide and source of information. And 2, the algorithm will help you out. Not so much on podcasts. I mean, people just glancing at episode titles will be interested, but YouTube will actually promote and show your videos to more people if you are doing content and titling it and keyword including in the video description the topic that's actually trending in your space. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today. I know this is a shorter video, but it's to the point. You have some homework. Go do it. You should have several new ideas for content after watching this video. If you have questions, feel free to leave a comment in the video and I will answer it. But I want you to do this homework and take it seriously, even if you're an experienced show host, because this is probably what your audience wants from you more than anything else. And you'll probably be surprised by the response to these kind of episodes. All right, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We're bringing you new videos weekly, and I will talk to you soon.